The shocking truth about Chinese dirt bikes is that they're actually pretty good. Chinese brands are no longer the jokes they once were. Or so it seems. That's definitely what the marketers in Chongqing want us to believe anyway. So we're here today with Kove to find out the real truth. Like it or not, Chinese dirt bikes are coming. And if you look at other motoring sectors, they might be coming to take over. If you look at the car world or the road bike world, that Chinese invasion is already well underway. Reportedly, there's at least 150 active car brands in China and perhaps as many as 200 motorcycle brands as well. So that explains why it seems like you see a new brand that you've never heard of hitting the roads each and every week. And people are actually buying these things. 6 million vehicles were exported from China in 2024. And according to an article I read on Bloomberg, by the year 2030, a third of the world's cars will be coming from China. And that really isn't that far away. It really is true that perceptions change with time and with the generations. And I guess a raise in the quality really helps speed up that process as well. For example, back in my dad's era, you wouldn't have touched a Skoda car with a barge pole. Their reputation was that bad. But nowadays, Skoda has no negative connotations with drivers of my generation. And I think the same thing is happening today with Chinese vehicles. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have gone near them. But today, Chinese cars and bikes are definitely becoming a viable option for motorists. And Kove are trying to be the guys to trailblaze this Chinese revolution in the off-road world. Today, Sean and I will be testing out the Kove 450 and the Kove 250 to find out whether or not this Chinese dragon is all bark and no bite. Based out of Chongqing and Chengdu, Kove Moto is a Chinese sports motorcycle company which was founded in 2017. Their goal is to provide riders with high performance, high quality, large displacement bikes. So far, they're more known for their adventure bike machines, and they gained worldwide recognition for their efforts at the Dakar Rally. But they are now looking to break into the motocross world as well. According to their website, Kove are the #4 domestic brand in China for bikes over 300cc. So it'll be interesting to see what they can bring to the table in the dirt bike world. They are coming to market now with both an MX 250 and an MX 450. So, let's see how they perform.
A joke. Made in China, let's see how it goes. Cove 450. Good start. Not a good start for me on the Kove. I was on the 450. Didn't sound right or feel right. I got a quarter of a lap in, cut out, and it won't start again. I burnt a hole in my glove already.
So it wasn't a great start for me, but let's see how Sean is getting on board the 250.
brakes, I'll give it that. It's not as powerful as other branded 250S, but it's definitely not bad. Not too bad, this little thing, you know. Sugar. But handles very good. Turns well, I know that. It's very positive on the front. It stalls a lot. A lot of people said it's vague on the front end, but I didn't find it vague at all. I found it very precise. Yeah, the headstock felt very steep when I first got on it. I thought, oh, this could be a bit sharp and tuck under a little bit, but not at all. It's very precise on the front. Brakes work well. Clutch is super light. It's a lot better than I thought it'd be. A lot better.
So Sean is having a great time out there, and I managed to find a working 450 to have a play on. Obviously those issues at the start of the day for me were not ideal, but I tried to put those problems to the back of my mind and just test this bike. But those issues will definitely have to be considered when I give my verdict and review.
So yeah, this definitely feels a lot better. Power-wise, it's not pulling my arms out. It's definitely not the beefiest 450 I've ever ridden, that's for sure. And suspension, it doesn't feel that nice. But this has literally just come out of the crate, so it's not been set up at all. So I won't mark it down too much for that at the moment. So take two was a lot better. The bike's actually working this time. Positive. First reactions, yeah, I'm quite impressed. I am quite impressed. It's got a lot of positives, I mean, these things have just been built out of the crate for us today to ride. They've not been run in, and it feels pretty good out there. If there was one criticism, it could just do, the 250F could just do with a bit more power, but it's okay, you know, it's not slow, it's just not quite as fast as what I'm used to. But the gearbox on this is silky smooth, like shifting from second to third, no problem. It gives you plenty of confidence shifting just before the base of a jump, because it slips in so easy. You know you're not going to hit that false neutral or not get in the gear or anything like that. So yeah, all in all, it's impressive.
So we swapped bikes. Sean is out there on the 450 now, and I got a chance to rip around on the 250.
Right, so here we are on the Cove 450. I like the sound of this. Is she popping and banging? They're going to hear you coming on this, I know that for a fact. There is an option of running the baffles, but who wants them? Oh. Does handle like the 250 though, it's very precise. I love that. So you do get a little bit of a head shake on this one at the speed, not much, but I did tighten the headstock up earlier just because it was ever so loose. I'll tell you what I've noticed with it, there's not that much engine braking, which is quite nice. If you like a sharp turning bike where you can literally just turn it on the front, this is very good at that. Doesn't want to run out wide like normal 450s. I think the most impressive thing for me for both of them is the way they handle. Not suspension, like, do you know what I mean? That feels harsh as anything at the moment because they're brand new. You can literally feel every little pebble on the track. But I'm talking about just the way it'll hug the inside if you want it to. I'll tell you what, this thing could hold its own. Definitely. There's bikes out on the market that I think this would put to shame, if I'm honest. So Sean's hit the track on the 450 now. He's given that a review, which has given me the chance to hop on board the Kove 250. I've just done a couple of laps of them, and I'm actually really enjoying it, to be honest. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to chuck the Crossbox data logger on my head. I'm going to go out there and throw down some fast laps and see what this bike is made of. Now, interestingly, the last time I was at this track, I was actually riding a championship winning machine. I was here with Tommy Searle, the newly crowned British MX2 champion, and we was making a video for his channel where I was testing his bike. So I know my lap time around this track on a Triumph TF250X, a championship winning, race winning, almost semi-factory bike. It's a very good bike, it's Tommy's bike. So I know that lap time, and I'm going to go and set a lap on this. Now, I know it's not an apples to apples test, the track conditions are different, but it will give us a vague idea of how the Kove 250 stacks up against a championship winning bike. So let's go and do it. Let's see what time I can set on this machine. So the clock is on then, on board the Kove MX 250. Let's see what this Chinese dragon is made of. The conditions are a lot different to my previous lap here at VIP Motocross, so take this test with a grain of salt. This test is just a bit of fun to see whether the Kove 250 is anywhere near as good as the traditional European and Japanese machinery. Just one more corner left now of the lap and two more jumps. Here we go then, across the line.
It's a lap in the books for the Kove 250.
So I've just logged some fast laps on the Kove 250. We're going to download the times on a crossbox, and once we sit down at the end of the video, we'll have a look at those compared to my time on Tommy Searle's Triumph and see how it stacks up against the championship winning machine. Like I said, not an apples to apples test because the track is different, but it'll give us a somewhat decent idea of if this thing is competitive or not.
If you watch the channel regularly, you'll know that we only work with brands and companies with products that we genuinely use and love, and Seat Concepts is one of those companies. You can see I've got a brand new Seat Concepts seat on Kong here, and it's looking sweet. The seats are handmade in the USA and they are shipped worldwide. You can get them in different shapes, colours and heights, and they really give your bike the pro finish. I've got them on pretty much all of my bikes now, and I genuinely love them. So if you're interested in picking up a new seat, check out Seat Concepts. Their link is in the description down below. Okay, so let's jump into the meat of the review then. Sean's going to take the lead here because he is in a unique position, I think, to review these bikes, because you're an experienced rider on the Austrian brand bikes. You spent a decent amount of time on the Japanese bikes. You've tested the Triumph, the British bike, and you've also tested Chinese bikes in the past as well, the Slam that we featured on the channel quite a few times. You're in a unique position where you can compare these Kove bikes to 250 and a 450 against all of those, and especially that Chinese bike, the Slam. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, so take it away. What were your first impressions of the bike? What's the review after a day on the Kove?
Well, when we first turned up, I was a bit apprehensive, but don't judge a book by its cover is all I can say. I was super impressed. The 250F, we'll start with that. The only fault I had with it is it's a little bit underpowered. It's dry here today, which didn't affect it at all. The bike felt really good, but from riding 250Fs, I'll know that if the ground gets heavy, it's going to struggle a little bit.
It runs out of steam.
Yeah, it's not quite got the horsepower, you know, of all the other brands. I mean, they said it's got 40 horsepower, but I'm pretty sure that's at the crank.
Yeah, not on the back
so
wheel.
It's not at the back wheel, so it's definitely down on ponies for sure. The rest of the bike is very good. I was super impressed with the gearbox. Gearbox is silky smooth. It gave you loads of confidence, as in, like, at the base of the jump you could shift that extra gear because the box felt that good. You knew you weren't going to hit a false neutral or anything like that. Even the tyres older people appreciate this, but back in the day when you got you were 16, you got your 50cc bike, you had these tyres on it and they were called Changxing, and everybody used to take the Riz, you know what I mean, like Changxing tyres. And we've rocked up today and it's got Changxing tyres on it. But they are owned by Maxxis, they are a brand of Maxxis. But even down to the tyres, everything works so well. I mean, this bike is developed in China.
In China, yeah. So there's no like name parts on it that you'd recognise, I don't think.
There's no named parts. Everything's built in-house. It may be a copy of other brands.
All very similar.
All very similar, yeah. But it works very, very well. Would you call it a budget bike? Would we say that?
Well, I've just found out the prices, so we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But it's very rudimentary. There's no map switches or any fancy gadgets that you're getting on the...
Yeah. If you were starting up in the sport, I think you would be, that's where you'd be spending your money, I think. You ain't going to go to a British Championship and ride that for sure, but your club rider, your B, your C rider, possibly your A rider might be able to work it. It is a little bit down on power, but apart from that, the rest of it's good.
Moving on to the 450 then.
Yeah, the 450, I mean, I think there's a bit more development gone into this because it's running a hydraulic clutch where the 250F was cable. There's nothing wrong with the cable clutch on that, it worked well. It's not as powerful as your normal 450s out there. I mean, some of them are super, super fast.
It's not as scary as you can.
No, definitely not. Like, some of them really have luggy, hard power off the bottom where if you catch a bump and the throttle, it'll pop and it'll lug forward, and you're not controlling it, where this doesn't do that. It's certainly not slow. I enjoyed this more than the 250F, I think, just because it had a bit more oomph about it. But it feels super light in the turns. There's not a lot of engine braking on this, so it doesn't feel like your standard 450. It was very similar to how the Ducati turns, because that's another good turning bike. I wouldn't shy away from going to race this tomorrow, not at all.
Which is a testament, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say they're leaps and bounds ahead of the Chinese bikes of the past,
Oh, for sure.
aren't they? This is a new generation of Chinese machinery, I think.
Again, as a vet rider, it was super comfortable. The power wasn't too much, wasn't too little. I enjoyed it, like I said. You know, out of the two, the 450 was the one for me.
So going to the prices then, this is got to be the major selling point of these bikes. 250 is coming in at 5,995, so £6,000. 450, 6,495, so six and a half grand for a 450 that you would go out and race.
But then, you know, then prices there, you know, you're getting close to the Japanese stuff, like your Kowe's. You know, I think the 450's round about, I think it's just over £7,000.
Is it cheap enough for you to look past the badge, basically?
That's tough, because I want to say yes, but I just don't think it is. I think they're just, if they were, you know, a little bit cheaper all day long, you know, I'd go out and buy that. I would go out and buy that 450, but at that sort of money, when you can get your Kowe that is, you know, a race winner, you know, it's £500, £800 more, and you know the pedigree of it, you know, I think so, you would struggle.
I would say one of the major factors when considering a Chinese bike is build quality and kind of parts and support. Can you get that? Because that's what the Chinese brands have been missing in the past. You just can't get parts for them. No. I was talking to the guys here. The plan is in the UK that they're going to have a central hub with parts that you can access easily. Reliability-wise and build quality-wise, we need to put more time on them for sure. I had a problem this morning when I first rolled out. These bikes have literally come straight out of the crates. So,
and they were built up and we went and rode them.
So you're always going to have some gremlins maybe, but
I mean, no more than anything else. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can just see the little bolt ears come undone a bit, but it's a brand new bike out the crate. Quality-wise, is like, time's going to tell if you can say as good as a Japanese bike. But, you know, from what I can see at the moment, it's nearly there. Do you know what I mean? It is nearly there.
I think we need to spend a hard day riding and racing them, maybe to really find out if the build
a hard day
is
riding
there.
And then racing. I think you need it for a while. Say a month or so, or maybe a bit longer, and put it through its paces and just see how it goes from there.
So I did a little fun thing on the 250 today. I enjoyed riding the 250. I had a good time on it. I said before, last time I was at this track, I was riding Tommy Searle's actual race bike. So I've got a lap time around the track here on Tommy's bike, and then I did some fast laps on this to see, just for a bit of fun. I know it's not an apples to apples test because the track is way different. It's way drier today, it was slippy back on that day when we started. My fastest time
this is you doing this.
My fastest time on Tommy's bike at this same track was a 140.75 on his race bike, his Triumph 250 race bike.
It's not going to embarrass Tommy, is it?
My fastest lap time today on the Cove 250 was a 133.
No. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Did you cut the track?
I don't think I cut the track. The track's exactly the same layout-wise.
I think condition-wise,
it's not an apples-to-apples test, but just to show, that it's not a million. It's
no slouch. You know, it can pretty much hold its own. The 250.
Because when you think of Chinese motocross bikes, you think of garden bikes and pit bikes and things that you couldn't actually hit the track on.
Things you get on Amazon and eBay. Do you know what I mean?
The Temu specials.
Yeah.
This is a legit motocross bike. Yeah. I put down a decent lap time on it. We'll have to go for back-to-back tests to really prove that point. But I think it's fair to say it's a good weapon for a rider of my level anyway.
Yeah, sure. It is a very good bike. It just lacks a little bit in performance, which sometimes isn't a bad thing because you can hold the throttle open longer.
Yeah, it's fun.
You can get it on quicker. Yeah, it gives you more confidence because you ain't got that snappy power of it getting away from you. But I just do feel if the ground was heavy, you know, a bit of moisture in the ground. Or
deep sand. The moon's out.
Yeah, DMP, Fat Cats, anywhere where the ground is heavy, I just think you'll be hunting for the power, which doesn't, you know, it's the best China's produced, for sure.
Yeah, I think without a doubt that is the truth. If they can get the price point right around the world, and if they can supply spares and parts and give easy access to those things.
Yeah.
This could be a change in, like the status quo as we know it could be ending potentially.
You know, we all know anything made in China, you can get it done cheaper. Do you know what I mean? It's just because they produce everything in such quantities.
Yeah.
That's why. Which then did surprise me a little bit about the price, but
I think the shocking truth about Chinese dirt bikes is that they are, in fairness,
They're
pretty
coming.
decent these days.
Yeah,
they are coming, whether we like it or not.
yeah.
Right, I'm all for more bikes coming out,
Yeah,
and especially
yeah.
cheaper bikes.
Yeah.
So,
Different manufacturers, and they're definitely coming.
so the shocking truth is they're pretty decent, and I think they'll be here to stay.